Hey, welcome back everyone. Tonight's ArtRage painting is especially fun for me to share with you. I'm using a different set of tools than I normally use, and I want to talk to you about why. But first let me get into the nuts and bolts. I think this is, I don't know where I got this image, but I think it's Taylor Lachey's model, and it just was in my reference file, a reference image file folder, and it just kind of had the feeling I was going for, and I felt like it would be appropriate for this tutorial. Now, for the tool. It's using ArtRage 6 here, and with the custom brush designer presets. These are presets that come with ArtRage 6, and so everybody has them. They're all the same for everybody, and I just thought that everybody should be using them because they're really, really fun. And I'm using I'm using kind of a host of other ones that are in there, but mostly I'm using the spray paint brushes or spray splatter brushes. So they look like paint drips, they look like spray paint, they just look kind of messy, and the biggest deal with them is they're going to give you a pretty unique look, and they're really going to be fun when you think about the kind of edges you create here. One of the difficulties in using these brushes is that it can all get really soggy and kind of smushy, so later into the drawing into the painting you see right here, I'm using the square canvas brush. This is another one of the presets, and I have an earlier video where I do an entire painting with the square canvas 2 brush, and you can see why, because it looks really cool. So as you watch the video, you can see I leave the preset palette open so you can see which tool I'm using for the whole thing. I even throw in a little bit of the glitter here and there just for fun, but mostly it's going to be all from those custom brush designer presets. Now, why? Well, I was painting with Photoshop, and I've been painting with Photoshop a lot, doing some client work and doing some of my own stuff, and having a lot of fun, and I love Photoshop, and I love Procreate, and I love Sketchbook Pro, and I like everything. If there's a piece of software I haven't tried painting with, I download it, I check it out. I'm starting to use a little Infinite Painter on my iPad. Just really want to try everything. But there's a reason why I always have ArtRage in my toolkit, is because as cool as everything else is, and as fun as it all is, ArtRage is unique. I mean, there's nothing else like it. And using a lot of the other stuff, it sort of feels like cousin to Photoshop. Everything else feels a little bit like, oh yeah, this is familiar to me. It works a little bit, it has that digital feel. Well, ArtRage doesn't. ArtRage feels a lot more like traditional painting than anything else I've ever used, and that's why I will always update it. That's why I'll always have it. That's why it's going to be part of my painting life forever. And I was bored of painting in Photoshop. I couldn't even get myself to do it, and I opened up ArtRage and I just started exploring some tools that I hadn't explored before, and I came up with this idea, and I thought it would be really a good way to explore painting with soft edges. And especially as a fine artist, you want to have, fine artists love their soft edges and being able to manipulate the nuance of those soft edges. And as maybe an illustrator, that you don't have to have soft edges to make a good painting, but us fine artists, we love it. So that's what this painting was all about, and I wanted to show you a fun and unique way to get at it. So here's that process. Now, as we get to the end of this, I want to do something a little different. I'm going to just stop talking, and for about 1 minute, I'm going to just do a speed replay of the whole painting, so you can kind of just get the feeling of laying in all those big shapes, the big gestural movements, and how we go from the big to the small. And I hope you enjoy it. Check it out. I can't tell you how fun it is for me to be an artist and to be able to share this stuff with you all, and it delights me beyond description to be able to hear how it's going for you, and to hear your questions, and to get your feedback, and to see you guys that jump into the Patreon and support there and ask questions there and engage with stuff. I just dropped my custom brushes that I made on my Patreon, but I just want to say thank you for checking all this stuff out. It is a blast, and I'm happy that you're here. Thank you so much for your support. Take care.